The Raiders over the weekend got their disgruntled star back in the fold, the man that led the way for running backs in the NFL last season. If you didn't see this, perhaps not. As had been anticipated, Las Vegas and running back Josh Jacobs agreed to terms on a upgraded one-year contract worth up to $12 million. The biggest weasel term of all time, up to. You see it all the time. You go shopping, whether it's online or in a brick-and-mortar store, up to 50% off. Up to. Now, the base value of Jacobs' contract, now you're very concerned about other people's finances, as am I. The base value of Josh Jacobs' contract, up to $11.8 million, including some per-game roster bonuses. So it's a small upgrade from the $10.091 million tag that the Raiders stuck on top of the head of Josh Jacobs. Now he can earn another $200,000 in incentives to get to the $12 million threshold if everything goes right. He doesn't get hurt. The Raiders have a good year, this, that, and the other thing. Bada bing, bada boom. He'll get to $12 million. So let us discuss the question. Who won the standoff between Josh Jacobs and the Raiders? I've got P.F. Chang's Box of Frogs and Dynavite. And we will connect all of these things together, and we are going to take a bite out of crime is what we're going to do, just like the mascot back in the day. So first of all, when you go to the judges' scorecards, and we're going to use a scale, not the judges' scorecards here, the scale. The scale is leaning significantly towards the silver and black when you ask who won the standoff between Josh Jacobs and the Raiders. Jacobs' heart desired a long-term contract, but the reality of the situation is he did not get the long-term payday. He didn't get what he wanted, and while he can declare a small victory by getting an extra, conceivably $1.7 million from the Raiders, in the big picture, in the crazy, wild world of professional sports, this is a mere pittance. Think about how much these NFL franchises are worth, and they have the salary cap, and they can manipulate the numbers. And if they want to pay you, they'll pay you. But the Raiders, the reason they're the winner here is that if they want to come up with an extra 1.7 or $2 million, whatever it might be, the Raiders can go over to P.F. Chang's, and the booth that Mark Davis sits at, they can shake the cushions at the P.F. Chang's booth where he eats the nice lunch every day there, and there's enough spare change, nickels and dimes that fall out, and even a few pennies, my old friend the penny, that will provide the Raiders with the resources to pay the money. Plus, as far as I have been told, the Raiders can still franchise tag Josh Jacobs again if they want, meaning this could be a deja vu situation next year. The bigger question is, what kind of attitude does Josh Jacobs have? Does he come in with a sour face, and is he a curmudgeon, or does he have a positive outlook on things? Also, how much is Jacobs going to play? That part is a mystery. The Raiders open up in Denver against the Broncos, the mile-high altitude, and head coach Josh McDaniels, he implied that there will be a pitch count for Jacobs. There'll be a snap count on how many plays he's going to be able to run. To that, my response is phooey. That's what I say, the F word, phooey. Unless he's been eating a balanced diet, Jacobs, of corn dogs and donuts, I see no reason for him not to go out there and play. I assume he's kept himself in shape. He's got a couple of weeks. He's got all of this week and then game week the following week to crank up the old motor and get ready. That is more than enough time to handle the rock. Not that the Raiders are ever going to run the ball 35 times a game. They don't do that in the modern NFL. So can he handle the ball around 20 times? Probably so. Probably so. Now, secondly, we go from one running back situation that's been decided to another one that's still up in the air. And that's in Indy. The weekend has now come and gone. Happy Monday. And we have two more shopping days. We have all of today and part of Tuesday before the Colts' self-imposed deadline, the musical chairs stop, and Jonathan Taylor has to find a trade partner. Otherwise, the Colts said, that's it, we're not making a trade. So how are things going? Well, the word is that a trade will not be consummated, that there's a general sense of skepticism around the NFL, that the Colts are asking for too much and Taylor wants too big a contract and it's just not going to work. Now, is it true? Is it true the Colts are playing hardball with Jonathan Taylor? So it's kind of obvious. It's a rhetorical question. Yeah, I'm nodding my head. Yes, Jim Irsay is as crazy as a box of frogs. He really is. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. He's hard-boiled. And Irsay is unyielding on this one. He's more willing to trade Liberace's piano than he is Jonathan Taylor. He'd take a deal on Liberace's piano from the Candelabra, but he would not take a deal on Jonathan Taylor. Now, this is always subject to change, but the Colts are at the mercy, oh, mercy nurse, they're at the mercy of Jim Irsay. And you toss in the money factor here, the long list of demands that has to be met, and if it's not met, we got a problem. So does Taylor cave in? Does he take less money? Do the Colts take less? You're talking about having to thread the needle. Thread the needle to get this done. All right, final thought. Let's head back to La La Land. You know I am a sucker for a 16-car pileup on the interstate. We all are rubberneckers right now. Over the weekend, the Rams played their final exhibition game. Teams only play 3. Rams played the Denver Broncos. Woohoo! Always a big game. Now, I didn't watch a second of this game. Why? Because I'm not a loser. I didn't watch a second. But I saw the score, and my phone, people were texting me. They're like, hey, did you see what happened? Your team blows, man. They suck. Your team's terrible. And sure enough, the Rams played the Broncos. Denver, John Elway, I think, played. Carl Mecklenburg played. I think you go down the list here. Some of the greats in Bronco history were out there as it was 41-0. 41-0. The Denver football team beat the LA NFC football team. Now, Sean McVay, remember, he contemplated leaving a NFL head coaching job for a cushy TV job at the Amazon. But now he's back, and this team appears in the exhibition season to be in total disarray. So what is your level of concern for the LA Rams after an 0-3 exhibition season? So Maller scale of concern, 1 to 10. It's never wrong, the Maller scale of concern, 10 being the house is on fire. The house is on fire. That would be a 10. I am at a 5. I'm only at a 5 on the Maller scale of concern. Now, the Rams have been absolute vomit in these exhibition games, but they projected to be a middling team anyway. And one thing I have learned here over the years, and I don't know that much, but one thing I know for sure, you cannot form any strong opinions, good, bad, or ugly, based on practice game. Not a real game. Not a real game. We in here talking about practice. Cannot do it. Cannot do it. Should not do it. I want winners. And you can't become a winner in the exhibition season, nor can you become a loser in the exhibition season. There is a word for people that form strong opinions based on exhibition games. The word is moron. And so don't be a moron. Don't be a Mama Luke. Don't be that guy, pal. Don't be that guy. Now, regardless, the Rams, I will say this for their defense, the Rams require team-wide dynamite because they have a lot of dogs on that defense. The Raheem Morris defense, a lot of changes there. They still got Aaron Donald. I know I haven't played that much, if at all, here in the exhibition games, but the Rams defense allowed 109 points in 3 games. The Rams as a whole only scored 34 points. My computer-like brain tells me the Rams got outscored by 75 points in 3 exhibition games. Holy crap on a cracker, Batman. They got outscored by 75 points in 3 exhibition games. So that's not good. But we knew that the Rams would be heading towards some bleak times. They won the Super Bowl in 2021. And now they have to deal with some dark years to build it back up, and it's the circle of life in the NFL. That's generally how it works. And the question, I think the Rams will be okay. And I wouldn't be shocked if they beat Seattle to begin the year. Geno Smith is not that good. He'll come crashing back down to earth. But the question is, if I'm wrong and the Rams get off to a dreadful start, just an absolute horrific start, at what point do the Rams then fall for the disease that is widespread around the NFL of tank, 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 team tank? Like, how many losses do the Rams have to have? Now, they start the season with the Seahawks. That's a road game. That's a winnable game because I don't think Seattle's very good. Neither are the Rams. But then after that, the Rams play the 49ers and Bengals. So if they lose to the Seahawks, we'll play the what-if game. And then they get smoked by the Niners, who always smoke them, and go down to the Bengals in Cincinnati. They're sitting at 0-3. And then after that, they play the Colts. You figure they should beat the Colts, but it's a road game. And then they play Philadelphia. So they've got 3 losses built in the first 5 games, 49ers, Bengals, and Eagles. And if they were to stumble against the Seahawks and the Colts, and all of a sudden you're sitting there at 0-5, and then you're like, well, wait a minute here. This could be, hey, that's Caleb Williams from USC, local guy, forever quarterback. Why not? What the heck?